Welcome in, Commanders. It's Jaws Munch. Today, we're going to be going over your very first scenario for Beyond All Reason. It is important for those who are new to be able to have a chance to just explore this game and practice some of the very basics and just learn a little bit about how this game works. Beyond All Reason is much different from a lot of other RTSs, so it can take a little bit to really understand how this game functions in comparison to some of the more popular games, such as StarCraft 2, even I think of Zero Hour Generals, Zero Hour. There's been a lot of RTSs, Age of Empires, games like that. They play very differently compared to BAR, but when you first load in, you're going to have your commander, and there's going to be a lot of just confusion about kind of how to start off, and it's important to just take your time. Don't get too, concerned with starting out really aggressively or anything with your first scenario in Beyond All Reason. Just take your time, look at the map, kind of examine your terrain, scroll out a bit, get a feel for what the map design is, and also just take some time to explore some of the different tabs here. When you have your commander selected, you can look at your economy tab. There's a bunch of different buildings that you can build. You have the combat tab, also variations there. Take some time to read about them, understand just the basics of them. You don't have to go too in depth here, especially to start out, but realize your sentry is a laser turret, your nettle is an anti-air tower. Economy wise, you have an energy converter. It converts energy into metal. Energy storage. Just reading those abbreviated explanations of some of these buildings before really starting to play is definitely okay to do on your first scenario. You're not under pressure. You can take the time to learn the game and really develop a light understanding of how to play this game. So you're gonna start out with some metal extractors here, and you're not worried about efficiency or anything like that. You can really take it kind of slow and just build a few metal extractors. That's all there is to it to start out. And you're gonna keep an eye at these bars up here. You have a metal production bar and an energy production bar. Then there's also two more bits of information on this side. You have your wind speed and also your tidal speed. So wind speed on this map, you can hover over it and get an idea of how good the wind will be. And I don't want to get too into the weeds on wind speed or even the nuances of wind speed versus the solar panels versus the tidal generators. There's a lot of min maxing you can do on that front, but for now I would recommend, as a beginner, just building a couple wind turbines, building a couple solar panels, and then maybe a little bit of energy storage and metal. Even some metal storage. As you can see right now, I'm wasting quite a bit of metal here. So I'm going to build a little bit of both of those. And that will give me just a little bit of a buffer as, for you as you're learning the game. It'll make it so you don't run out of resources quite as quickly. This is by no means a build order guide or anything like that. This is just to help you get into the game and get a feel for how to play. So you can see here we're capping out on energy. So you'll probably run into that quite a bit until you get a grasp for how to start up well. But don't be discouraged. That just means we need to build some energy production. So let's go ahead and start with a solar collector. This guy costs absolutely no energy here. You can see it costs 150 metal, 0 energy. So it's great to build these if you are running low on energy, but you have excess metal, which is exactly what we're dealing with right now. So we got 2 solar collectors coming up, and we're going to be able to store that energy and store all of that metal, and that will just relieve some pressure. Now, You have the combat. We don't really want to focus on that. You got utility. We'll talk about that later. And then you also have the building tab. This is really where the game opens up. You have a couple different types of buildings you can build here. I really recommend you start with either the vehicle lab or the bot lab. Aircraft, a lot of RTS games, you want to build multiple factories and kind of do a bunch of different unit types, such as you would do bots, vehicles, and aircraft. In bar, that can be a good strategy, but it's more of an advanced strategy. I would recommend that you just stick with one type of unit composition. So for this example, we'll stick with the bots because the bots are pretty simple to use and they have a lot of mobility. Their bots generally are better at climbing cliffs, which there are some cliffs here, so they'll be better at maneuvering this area. And, you know, they're simple to use, pretty cheap. They're a little bit more forgiving in some regards. Okay, so we're going to start out with building a couple construction bots. There is no reclaim on this map, so we aren't going to really talk about that. That's a little bit more advanced. We'll keep it pretty basic. So your first couple construction bots here, they're going to open up even more potential. So if you go to the economy tab, you're going to see now you have a geothermal plant that you can build and even a special type of metal extractor that's cloaked. These are really powerful buildings in certain situations, especially against the AI. The stealthy metal extractor can be pretty effective. And then you also have an advanced solar collector. The advanced solar collector does cost energy, but it is a better version of the basic solar panel. Okay, so we have a couple of these guys coming out, and I'm going to build one more just so we can talk about another function that these T1 construction bots have. So they unlock a whole lot of new type of turrets that you can build. So instead of just having a light laser turret or a light anti-air turret, now you have pop-up anti-air batteries, very good ranged turrets. You have the Gauntlet, which has a very large area of attack, very good at zoning out your opponent. And you also have the heavy laser turret, which is very strong. It does decent damage and very good area control. So there's a lot of very unique buildings that you unlock by having your T1 constructor out, that your commander, he can't build any of that. He's got a lot more basic buildings at his disposal. But the biggest thing that you're going to unlock from your T1 constructor is in your building tab. There's two main ones. You have your advanced bot lab. That will give you better bots at your disposal. So now you'll be able to aggress on your opponent much faster and much more effectively, longer ranged attacks instead of having to use weaker units. And then you also have the construction turret. This construction turret is going to let you increase your build power. And build power is a third hidden resource in Beyond All Reason that isn't necessarily easy to see unless you already kind of know it exists. So each factory down here, you can see each factory is given a certain amount of build power right off the bat, but the construction turrets can increase that build power by just being in the zone at which you build them. So let's wait till he places this. So this green circle here, this shows you the range at which this construction turret can help construct items.
You are wasting energy.
Yes, wasting energy. So that construction zone is going to give you an opportunity to increase the build power of your factory. So if you want to build, say, a couple Centurions, you can use your T1 constructors and you can have them help. Anything that has the ability to construct will be able to help build your army, help build the factory, or even other buildings like this. You can select other units to help build other buildings as well. Okay, and now this construction turret is automatically going to help build buildings or build anything really in this area. So you can use that construction turret to assist in your production. You can see now we're running out of energy again, but we still have a decent amount of metal. So what we can do is start a wind farm, and let's go ahead and go get ourselves some more metal. Since we have a little bit of an army here, you can assign key bindings to these units by pressing Control 1, Control 2, Control 3, whatever you want, and then anytime you press that number, it will select them automatically. Another thing you can do is you can do an auto control group, which is unique to Beyond All Reason as far as I know, where you can press Alt 3 or Alt 2, Alt 1, whatever key you would like as far as numbers go, and it will automatically combine every unit into that group. So every new unit is going to automatically come in with that one under their selection. So you can automatically select every unit type that you put into the auto group, okay? And that's with Alt. All right, let's get some constructors out, and we're gonna go ahead and get a couple metal extractors. You can press the area mechs button here, and you can click and drag a zone and get multiple mexes right after the other, and it will queue them up in the most efficient path possible. So we're going to grab our metal extractor and click area mechs, and our commander is going to go get some, and next our constructor will also get some. So we're still dealing with power issues, so we might actually want to have this construction turret assist this construction bot. That way we really ramp up our energy production a bit, and then we'll be able to mass produce more of these Centurions. And that's one very cool thing about Beyond All Reason, is there is no unit cap. Really, the amount of okay, technically there is a unit cap. If you look down in the corner here, there is a unit cap of 15,000 units. So technically, yes, but the likelihood of you capping out at 15,000 is very, very slim. You'd have to be a madman to have that many units. So that's one cool thing about Beyond All Reason. You have the ability to build basically as many units as you want, which also leads to these very grandiose battles that you have probably seen in your shorts feed. All right, on commander right here, you can see he's idle, so we can select him immediately. And it's always a good idea to get some vision for what's going on outside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to utility, and there's a couple items here. We have a naval radar, which is good for on the water. If you have a regular radar tower, it will automatically switch from naval to land depending on what you need. So that is pretty nice, and we'll just have him build a radar tower out here. This will provide a radar signature for any enemies. It does detect most enemies, although there are some enemies it cannot detect. All right, I think we are done with our wind farm here. So we're going to go ahead and continue to build these units. And I'm going to have them just waddle their way over here. Waddle these Centurions all the way over here, okay? So now that we have our radar tower up, you can see the range at which it will send out the signal. In the areas where it can't send out a signal, it will be blank. So it can't really detect on top of this hill. It can't detect around the corners. So certain areas like this won't be able to be detected. And, you know, any type of terrain blockage there may be, it will be paused and not able to detect that area. So these red dots are your opponent. And the signatures, you can see if you zoom in on them, they move around a little bit, and it's because it's not an exact location. It's an estimation based on position. So it's kind of an indirect estimation. So don't think that you can't hit something because you're shooting at a red dot. you can hit it. It's just you're only guessing because of your radar signature. So that helps with some uncertainty and making radars not too overpowered. All right, let's go ahead and get into some action here. We should be able to absolutely demolish with how many Centurions we have here. These units are quite strong. Oh. Apparently there's a tower here, but he stands no chance against our army of little meatballs. Alright, and so now we can select our commander and walk him over here, and you will see there are 54 metal on the ground. So what you can do is you can click, where's the button for that? Reclaim, and now it will give you this little symbol, and you can click and drag and reclaim that metal that's on the ground, and your commander will come up, get within build power range, and he will use his build power to suck up the opponent's reclaim, just like that. And you can also reclaim their buildings too, if you want. You can go through and reclaim all of them. The hotkey for that is E. And that's another thing I do recommend. In some of your first playthroughs, definitely take some time to look at your controls. And you don't have to memorize everything. Just slowly learn them as you play and get a feel for what ones are the most useful while you're playing the game. Okay. Units will heal over time, slightly. You can see just a little bit. It's not much, but you can boost them up even faster by just having something with build power heal them up for you. And that doesn't take any money or anything to do. I believe it is basically free. It might take a little bit of energy or something. So we're selecting all of our units by pressing 1. You can also select them down here by just pressing the unit group. And now we're getting into the bigger fight here. There's a whole lot of turrets that we will have to push through.
Unit lost.
And a couple of our guys go down. We might not even have enough to win this fight, but we're gonna take a stab at it. We got reinforcements coming. Go. Good destruction. I'm gonna kind of hold back, wait for the rest of our guys to come up. And now there's 1,000 metal here that I could potentially get if we get within a decent distance and end up winning this battle. So we'll push in now that we have the rest of those guys. We could come in with our commander and start reclaiming. Push in, take them out. Excellent damage here. Okay, and now you will notice that we don't have a radar signature any longer. So we really don't know what's going to be back here. And in a position like this where you don't have radar, I always recommend you get one down as soon as you can, because now you have information, and information wins you games. So there we go, we got radar and we know where the enemy's at. We can easily make a move. So we're gonna go ahead and keep on reclaiming all that juicy, delicious metal so our stockpile is full. And we'll push in on our opponent, because they will stand no chance with these beautiful meatballs. We found one of their main bases here. Blasted them to pieces. Couple more defenses. They got some walls here. Couple solar panels. Take them out.
Unit lost.
These walls are doing a great job. That's another thing you can do I didn't explain, is if you want to move them, you can hold right click and do a click and drag, and you can change their formation to whatever you want. And they will automatically drag into that formation. So that's really good, a really good quality of life thing for improving your ability to maneuver your units. Let's go ahead and grab the rest of our guys. We'll push them all through. There's some flame towers here. Those are definitely gonna hurt. Plenty of damage. Oh boy. These walls really are putting in some work on us. So we'll probably have to come back to take out that last area there. Some of these buildings are a bit tougher to kill than others. So it's pretty incredible how good walls are in certain locations.
You are wasting energy.
You can just
You are wasting metal.
block so much damage. Here we go, we got the factory, and we just have a handful of buildings here left. There you go. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there. Just because I don't want to spend too much time giving away too much about the game, as there is a little bit of accomplishment in learning some of the nitty-gritty. If you do want a little bit more help with things like going tier 2 and learning how to get even further in this game, and a little bit more nitty-gritty tips on how to play, definitely look at the channel. I have a ton of videos and resources for new players on how to get better at this game. It is super satisfying once you figure out some of the basics, and you'll really start to enjoy even going head-to-head in online battles. Definitely start with the scenarios, but the online battles are really going to help you in the long run really start to enjoy this game at its fullest potential. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a little bit about the beginnings of Beyond All Reason and how to get started with the game. Take your time. Try to learn just one faction at the beginning. Focus on your economy and understanding the basics of how the economy works, and make sure to just, check out some of the key bindings and start out with a little bit of a slower, learning session on your first couple of missions, because these scenarios, let me tell you, they will ramp up and get much harder. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.